For 20 years, our house has experienced a lot.
He's back! Are you kidding me?
Triumph, defeat, heartbreak, euphoria. It's been home to legends, and legends in the making. We've watched homegrown kids grow up here and welcome friends who became family.
The ballpark is in a frenzy!
Like our fans, this place has developed a reputation. And that's just the way we like it. In a city bursting at the seams with history, our house has had its fair share.
Howling drive, way out of here!
Grand Slam, Victorino! The Philadelphia Phillies are going to the World Series!
But it's not time to harp on history.
It's time to make more history.
He's gonna just watch it go!
Our team story is not done. It's barely been written.
Something's brewing with this team, John.
We're here for the long haul and the long ball.
That one is gonna be long gone!
It's been a fun 2 decades,
Son of a gun, I love this place.
but this is the only looking back we're doing
With a rainmaker!
because we're tired of knocking on the door. It's time to kick it down.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sorry in Advance. It's good to be back. Hi, Scott.
What's up, buddy? Yeah, it is good to be back. We needed a little break.
It was a little 3 week hiatus. Well, you got some stuff done. I got some stuff done. We got some stuff done. Hey, Mrs. Pizzo.
What's up, Mom?
But we are back officially to one. I wanted to start off with the Phillies, but of course, we're obviously here to also kick off the NFL season, as the NFL should, with a Eagles-Cowboys rivalry. So we will be getting into that later. And when I say later, I mean in like 8 minutes. Well, I was just doing a little bit of Phillies tonight because, ironically, for some reason, they're off on a Tuesday after they just played the
You can thank the Brewers for that, actually.
Oh, I can?
Because the Brewers requested to play on Labor Day and have the off day Tuesday.
That's stupid.
Well, guess what? They lost.
I was gonna say it worked out real well. And then it's hey Donna. Thank you also
What's
for
up,
sharing
Donna?
our posts.
Yes, thank you.
What's up, Rye? So yeah, that worked out real nice, even though the game was aggravating for a little while. And when I say a little while, like
The whole game.
the whole game. The only thing, and it actually was relieving that we didn't do a show because I didn't want to absolutely go off after that Mets series.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, it's just going to be like nonstop cursing and me screaming and yelling and throwing stuff. And
I didn't watch a single inning of that series because I knew what was going to happen.
I made the genius choice to watch the games and then go back and watch them summed up on YouTube again, like the next day at work. And I was like, well, yeah, if there's a way I want to, ruin my own week, I'll watch the Phillies losing to the Mets twice. So technically, what's that? 6 times I watched it. That series was so absolutely aggravating because of the fact that
They couldn't do anything.
They couldn't do anything. You couldn't hit. I just
It was more aggravating I think it aggravated me because they had a lead in 2 out of the 3 games up until like the 6th inning.
Right. And it was, I think, and then to get shut out the last game, which was just a pathetic all around showing. Like it was absolutely nothing. So it literally is just like we're watching that, and people want to know why, you can turn on this team so quickly sometimes. And it's not really turning on them. It's just voicing your frustration, which sounds like we're turning on them, but it's just aggravating. Like the first game you lost 13-3.
And they were winning 3-0.
They were winning 3-0, and then it just blew up in the last 4 innings. And then the second game you lost 6-5, and then you lost 6-0. To me, that second game was kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs points at the end of the Super Bowl.
Yes.
That second game was just nothing. Like, you scoring 5 runs meant nothing. You
No.
still lost, and then you got even further embarrassed. And that, don't get me wrong, that kid, McLean or whatever it is, their rookie pitcher,
Yes.
that's called up, he's good. I'm not denying that. It's just the fact that, like, that series really just pissed me off because I know everything. I forget who I was talking to, but I was like, if everything works out and the season, the whole game of if the season ended today, and the Mets made it through the wild card, we're playing the Mets again in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm just like,
It's like how the Braves felt when they played us.
Seriously. And I'm just sitting there looking. I'm like, at this point, get third place or third best record in the division winnings, so we don't have to play them. Or if you really, really, really want the week off, which I don't, just overtake the Brewers now and have the best record, so we end up in first place and we don't have to play the Mets regardless.
I just don't. The game plan is just don't play the Mets in the playoffs.
Pretty much. Like I don't want to.
No.
And then of course you show up after that series and you win 19-4 in a 4 home run night against the Braves for Kyle Schwarber. And then the next 2 games of that series is probably games that the Phillies should have lost.
Oh yeah, 100%. Not only that,
they were losing the whole time.
Yeah. My whole thing is it was just so funny to me because like they get swept by the Mets, show no life whatsoever, and I'm thinking like, yep, another early exit in October, and then boom, this happens. They just go on the roll.
Right. And then it's just like, if you're going against good pitching matchups, like Saturday they faced Chris Sale. I was expecting that to be a close game, and it was. We won 3-2.
Should have won Sunday.
You should have won Sunday. But again,
Sunday, right? Yeah.
Sunday, yeah. But they threw out their rookie, who is also very good. Had a nasty splitter all game. They just weren't touching it.
Just couldn't muster on any runs, and then you turn to Monday, and they just somehow just come back and beat the best team in the league.
Yeah, like 6 times they came back.
Yeah.
Like it was just aggravating. And to add on to the fact that like rosters expanded and they called up Garrett Stubbs, and I'm like, that's who you chose, huh? And the kid and the relief pitcher we just picked up from the Pirates, which I'm fine with because
I heard he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's got a sub-3 ERA, but he's only played like 9 games. But you need the bullpen help, which to add on to that is obviously we signed Walker Buehler, which you and I both said immediately when he was released that
bullpen.
Something.
He's starting.
Well, they said 6-man rotation, and then they said 6-man rotation. Then probably I'm assuming have him in the bullpen. So that is the update of the state of the Phillies right now. So we are 2 days away from Eagles Cowboys. Sorry, I'm getting alerts on my fantasy football. People are dropping players already, and I'm like, we haven't even started.
I'm not even touching my teams until like week 4.
Well, can I tell you how someone drafted the Pittsburgh Steelers defense in the first round?
Oh, interesting.
Yes, interesting strategy there, Cotton.
Yeah.
So to discuss the Cowboys-Eagles game, we have been graced with the presence of Casey Schedule from the On Time Sports Talk.
What's up, boys?
What's going on? I'd say nice shirt, but I'd be lying.
Hey, I had to. You're bringing me on to talk about them. So yeah, I had to be a little antagonizing.
I almost wore my an Eagles jersey, something. I was like, you know what? Last time I got criticized when we were talking about during the Super Bowl. I'll be nice, so I won't wear anything this time. So, but thanks for coming on, man. Much appreciated.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Of course.
So,
Network MVP got to come through.
Yes, I can't even argue with that one. So, all right, here's what I got. Kicking off the NFL season. And I mean, you can't go much. Can't get much better than an Eagles-Cowboys rivalry. So, this was not a knock. I just was putting their last year's records up there. So the Eagles finished 14-3, Cowboys 7-10. I think everybody would be lying if they didn't say that they thought the Cowboys, it was going to be a Cowboys-Eagles fight last year. I think the Commanders kind of came out of nowhere and excelled much quicker than even they thought. I don't know what you guys think.
No, I agree with that.
The proof's in the pudding on that statement.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, last year was just, when they lost Dak for, half of the season. I mean, it just, everything kind of fell apart, it seemed like, for the Cowboys. The one, I'm really trying to be nice. I'm not even trying to be a ball buster. Like, if Dustin was here, he'd be yelling at me probably for laying into him. I wanted to ask you, before we get into statistics and all that kind of stuff, is an Eagles-Cowboys rivalry like one of the best in sports, let alone football?
When I was growing up, I actually hated the Redskins more than the Eagles. That kind of turned with the McNabb years for me, and kind of being a little wary of the not so brotherly love that goes on in that old veteran stadium. But I think so. I think it's a rivalry up there with the best of on the other side, because what you have is, I think, to have a great rivalry, both sides got to win at times. It's got to be a throw the records out the window type thing. It's going to be a dogfight, and you add the history of, wasn't it Buddy Ryan that to take out Troy Aikman, Bounty, or whatever it was called.
Whatever the hell it was called.
It wasn't Bounty Gate, because that was the Saints. But yeah, I think it is. I think it's a great rivalry in sports, and especially American sports. And I think it's must-see TV, honestly, no matter what the records are. And
the Bounty Bowl, sorry.
It was the Bounty Bowl.
The Bounty Bowl, yes. I was going to say Gate is all, I think, Tom Brady and all that now. Deflate Gate, whatever.
I don't think there's no other rivalry like this in the NFL, and there hasn't been for a while. Besides, I mean, you had Peyton versus Brady, but other than that, it's just Eagles Dallas. They run the NFL as far as rivalry.
Yeah, I just feel like, even like, you want to do a comparison of like Red Sox Yankees, even that
died down.
That's died down a lot to me over the last years. It's
the Red Sox have in that realm, they've fallen off the map. And like I said, rivalries are great when both teams are good, and generally, the Eagles, ever since Andy Reid took over years and years and years ago, they've been a high-performing team. The Cowboys have had years where they've been great. They've had years where they haven't. We all know who we can contribute that to. But, it's one of those things where I think it's a fun one. It can be a nasty one at times. And, I'll be honest, that's not a stadium I'll go see a game at up there in Philly. Not one on my bucket list.
I can vouch, though. I have a friend who lives up here who is a Cowboys fan and has sat lower level and everything, and will go. And he's like, it's actually not crazy if you go in and you're not,
intimidated.
You're not starting anything.
Uh-oh. The old man is here.
And welcome the original. See, now I feel like I have to go upstairs and get a jersey or something.
We just knew we were coming on to represent, but you're actually probably not going to get too much rah-rah out of either of us here in a minute when you start talking about the game and the season and our outlook on the Cowboys. So, but we'll save that for when you want to get to that.
Well, let me ask Eddie then, since we were just talking about it. What do you think about the Eagles-Cowboys rivalry in a all of sports aspect? Is it one of the top rivalries in sports, let alone the NFL?
Well, I always measure it by level of hate. and I hate the Eagles. Hate, 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 hate. Now I say that there's been some players that I like, but,
Oh, he loves
yeah, I
Saquon
think
Barkley.
it's one of the when you talk about two teams that just go at each other. I mean, it's really hard to find another one. I mean, the Commanders, which, like I've said, I think it's the stupidest name ever. They need to go back to the Redskins. But that was always a good rivalry. But the Eagles, for me, it goes back to the whole Jimmy Johnson, Buddy Ryan thing. That really, really, even before that, it was a rough rivalry. But once they had that, and then they kind of rubbed it in, and then Jimmy Johnson made it his mission to beat the Eagles. I don't think that's ever let up, and you know, I think it's definitely one that everybody looks forward to that game, and they know it's going to be a physically hard fought game, no matter what the records are.
Yeah. I know, Casey, you had said too, it's like it helps when it's both teams are good too. I mean, I remember even when like the Eagles weren't doing good, like after their one playoff year with Chip Kelly, or when the Eagles were starting to come down a little bit at the end of the Andy Reid era. It didn't
Or
even
even
matter.
Doug
Like the Eagles were
Peterson.
4-12, and it was just like people still had the Cowboys game circled. It was just, you knew no matter what how bad the team was doing, that was going to be a great game somehow. Excuse me. Here, my mom's chiming in. Sorry.
By the way, have y'all
Oh,
tried
that's
the
your
thing
mom.
where it just automatically feeds them on the screen?
Yeah, I had it up
Oh.
here, and I
Okay.
always forget to turn it back on.
Oh, gotcha.
How do you say the middle name?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
How do you say her middle name?
Oh, that is her maiden last name. It's incredibly Polish. That is Alekchejczyk.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would never even
Definitely
attempt that.
Eastern European for sure.
They
Yeah.
shortened it just to Alec.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Here's we're a lot of, obviously, like, it's first game, so we can't look at the current season, but looking at last year, the Eagles finished top 10 in a lot. And again, I know, Eddie, before you jumped on, it was just, we were talking about how, the Cowboys lost Dak for half of a season, and just things just kind of, Mike McCarthy's gone. You guys have a new offensive coordinator or defense. I was looking at it. I'm like, yeah, I was going to say like a lot of coaching changes too, just to kind of revamp everything for you guys. But I mean, it really was just, I mean, two completely different sides. And again, I'm not trying to be a jackass and throw it in here, but I mean, it was just a tail of the tape here. That the Eagles really just kind of dominated everything.
You got one that's a Super Bowl team, and you got one that's not even a playoff team, really. So
right.
That's what last year was.
Yeah.
Yeah. You listen. I'll just say this. Y'all have all the right to be an asshole right now. Okay, you guys earned it. You kicked ass, and this is about as much praise for the Eagles you're ever gonna get out of me. All right, won the Super Bowl, and you did it, in my eyes, legitimately. I don't. There was something about Nick Foles that just made me not want to give y'all credit because of the backup quarterback. But it actually probably made it even more impressive. Even I just don't want to really admit it. But last year's Eagles team was actually probably top to bottom one of the best teams I've seen in a long time in their phases. Receivers, obviously Saquon, Jalen Hurts, I think, has proven everybody wrong, and the defense was phenomenal. I mean, the offense or the defensive line is great. The offensive line is, I mean, one of the best in top 2 or 3 in the league at minimum. And so and we're over here in Dallas Cowboy fandom, and every time we see a move or a player that Phillies drafts, I sit there and go, really? They got that fucker too? and it's kind of like, son of a bitch. Like, what are we? and then I remember, we have Jerry Jones running things, and that's why we don't make these decisions. So
don't worry, he has his own slide on here too. So
I'm excited to
it's just to get your guys' opinions toward the end of the
well,
episode.
it's funny because I have a brother-in-law is a huge Eagle fan, and of course, I married into a family that hates the Cowboys. So some of them are Texans fans. The other ones, part of them, are Eagles fans. But he always says it, and I can't disagree with him. He said Jerry Jones is his favorite GM in the NFC East, being an Eagles fan. Because the proof is in the numbers. What you're showing right there, that GM on the right shouldn't be a GM. And
did you guys ever see the video of him like on the field at the link and Jerry Jones, and he's walking by and like a bunch of Eagles fans are clapping and cheering for him, just saying, keep doing what you're doing, Jerry. He's just smiling, laughing. I'm like, dude, how do you put a straight or a smile on your face, like, and just go with it? Like, I mean, I guess I can do, but
I don't see, and this is the thing that I said to Casey. I think it's going to be worse with Stephen Jones. I really do, because if you go to the documentary, which I'm sure some
I haven't watched it yet,
but
I want to watch it.
But Stephen is always in the background saying, "Don't do this, don't do that, don't spend this, don't spend that," and I really think that his influence has become more prevalent, and he's more about being conservative when it comes to players and getting other players. So I just think when Jerry is finally gone on into that football stadium in the sky or whatever, I think Steven is going to be worse. I really think that.
So I made this counter argument, and y'all can, and he's referring to the Dion situation of Stephen Jones didn't want Dion in the documentary, and he pushed Jerry Jones up against the wall, and like, you really did it. The way Jerry described it, because I've seen all eight episodes now, it didn't seem that dramatic as my old man was making it on the show, like they're about to get in a boxing match. But I think for every example, like Dion, Stephen Jones is responsible for not drafting Johnny Manziel. Like there's positives to that as well. So I think right now anyone's better than Jerry. I just do.
Was he telling Jerry though? You obviously not to trade Parsons, or like what was going on with that?
Well, I don't have that information, but
no, I'm just curious because when I was watching the sports and whatever, or NFL Network or not, I saw Michael Irvin go on and he was like I think it was like a couple hours before he even got traded. He's like, that's not going to happen. There's no way. He's like, Jerry was on my podcast.
He was wearing the same clothes later in the interview after they traded him. He's just like, you got to be kidding me, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what Steven would have been. I think that trade was there's a saying in the documentary that says, "Don't let your money get mad." I think Jerry Jones let his money get mad in the Micah Parsons situation. I think he made it personal.
And it decided to trade him anyway.
Well, when Jerry went on with Stephen A. and he talked about he offered in March to make him the highest non-paid quarterback in the history of the game. Mm-hmm. And I remember Micah Parsons on maybe his podcast, a different podcast, saying, what's the difference between 30 or 40 million? I just want to be in the best situation, or whatever. I'm calling bullshit on that. But is, at the end of the day, I think Jerry fumbled that, and he thought they had an agreement with him and Micah, and then the agent gets involved. And the agent did this shit with Jalen Ramsey last year to force his way out of Miami. So this is that guy's playbook. I think this agent doesn't have a great reputation with GMs personally, and it's going to play out with George Pickens as well because he's his agent as well.
Well, 'cause
Well,
I saw
and
too that
he's already a character as it is. George Pickens.
Yeah. I mean, he's been on his best behavior for us so far, but to be determined.
Well, because I saw a thing this morning too about how supposedly the agent said like an hour or two before Parsons was traded that like he was reaching out trying to amend things with Jerry Jones, and it was just like I guess mine was made up, the bridge was burned or whatever, and I'm like, again, are you saying that because now he's gone, he's a Packer now, so you're trying to save face because you screwed this up too?
And I've made the point here is I try to look at things from multiple angles, and from an ownership perspective. And I've said this on the show. My old man can, he can back up. I've said this multiple times. Is as an ownership, as a GM, I really have you under contract for the next 3 years, regardless.
Yeah.
And you're going to be making a boatload of money that's guaranteed for this year and 2 years if I tag you. Now, would the smart thing have been to do this deal last year when he first got eligible? You're damn right, because you probably would have got him for 30, 32, 33 million instead of, north of 40. So it just didn't make a lot of sense. And I thought what Jerry was trying to do, justifying in his post-trade conference, was 45 minutes of just hugabaloo bullshit. Like trying to, we got to stop the run. Well, you haven't addressed the run in the last 3 years. So, and the one draft pick you did try to do is one of the worst defensive tackles in the NFL and should have been cut, in my opinion. So, but yeah. Hey, what's up, Cowboy Up podcast?
What's up, Cowboy Up? What's up, Paul?
That's one of them. I went on their show.
The one you were just on, right?
Huh?
That's the one you were just on the other day?
Yeah, I was on there a couple weeks ago. I love them, man. They're great.
Nice. Well, thanks for being here, guys. Yeah, it's just the whole situation was, we're hearing secondhand info out here, and our radio stations are obviously going to keep just bashing the Cowboys. But that's why it's just like, I know, because doesn't he go on the radio, on your radio station all the time? Jerry Jones,
he goes on 105.3 The Fan, and that was like the one he threatened to get the guy fired and all that.
Yeah, I remember that.
103.5 or 105.3 The Fan is the banner station, the official station of the Cowboys. So,
okay,
like AM 610 Sports is the official for Houston. So they carry all the games, and I guess you can be critical, but you can't be overly critical or something like that.
No.
So what's funny to me about this whole situation is now the players are saying there was, and I think some of us sensed this. We talked about Micah so much during his first few years of just shut up, dude. Play the game and just shut up.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you're starting to hear a lot of the players saying that, he played hard and he worked hard, but he wasn't the greatest in the locker room because he was not mature. And I think one of the things, and I'm not, either way, I wish we would have kept it. I'm not saying it's justified that he's gone, but it's going to be interesting to see, because I've watched some of the highlights of him practicing with Green Bay. I watched when he signed the contract, and it was all about the money. It was all about, look what I got, I've never, and I heard his first press conference, and he didn't really talk about, I'm here to win a championship. I'm here. None of that really was there. It was more about, we couldn't work things out. He's just talking about the past. And he doesn't. We're going to have to see how this plays out, because Micah had always grown up being a Cowboy fan. Always, that was his dream thing.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have to see how it plays out. Yeah. I got to take a call really quick. I'll be back in just a second.
No problem.
Yeah.
To tie on to that, I saw the thing about he grew up a Cowboys fan. if you love your team that much and you want to play for your favorite team, whatever, you think you would try and find a way to make it work. But I also know, like, with him and his podcast and everything like that, like, dude, I mean, incredibly outspoken and everything like that. And I feel like the biggest case of that was like when they asked Dak about it, and he was just like, it sucks that he's gone, but I'm glad the issue's resolved. And I'm just like, damn, dude, that don't sound like you're very upset at all.
I think a lot of guys in the locker room. You heard Jordan Lewis speak out about him, former cornerback for the Cowboys. You heard DeMarcus Lawrence speak out when he signed with Seattle. I think he was a me guy overall. I mean, I've seen a couple shows break down like Micah versus the run, and it didn't look very great, to be honest. He's a top 2-3 pass rusher. There's no doubt about that. And he's not inadequate against the run, but he's not an elite run defender. So you're paying. I don't even think he's as good as Von Miller in his prime. Just as far as all around player, I think his pass rush skills are some of the best we've ever seen. But as far as an all around player, that may be me just trying to feel better about it, but I don't think they should have. I would have re-signed him personally. I felt like he is a game wrecker. He is a person the opposing coaches have to game plan for and know where he's at, and there's very few of those. But he, there is evidence he's fallen off later in the season. His first 3 seasons happened like that. Last year, it wasn't like that, but he was injured the first part of the season, so he's fresher towards the end of the season. So it's interesting to see what goes on. And I think any trade, you have to see what it looks like down the line. So what are these 2 picks going to turn into? The old man thinks they're going to package them to try to get Arch Manning. Of course, after that performance on Saturday, Arch may not be number 1 pick.
I was going to say, might have to wait another 2 or 3 games to change your mind.
So, but what you got next on here?
All right, so the offense.
Oh yeah,
here's real quick, and here this was one thing I wanted to actually kind of defend the Cowboys for. You'll see the passing touchdowns allowed for the Eagles was 22, and the Cowboys only gave up 6 more, but dropped to 24th. I like my defense of the Cowboys is it literally was like so many teams were tied that really 24th isn't that bad for it. Like some of these stats are kind of skewed when it comes to that placement in the league. The offense, obviously, our passing game is going to be last or damn well close to last as long as Jalen Hurts is our quarterback. But I think how long did you hear in the NFL that this is a passing league now? The running back isn't as important anymore. And then it's Eagles come and they get a running quarterback who throws for the third least. We had the third least passing yards in the NFL. I think just to show that it's not a dominant passing dominant league anymore, like they want to say it is.
Well, I think what the point you're trying to make is I think you can win passing, but your most dominant teams have a good running game. If you look just in the AFC, just comes to mind Ravens, Derrick Henry, Cook and Josh Allen in Buffalo.
And I remember Scott and I said this too. When the Ravens got Derrick Henry, everyone thought they were nuts because Derrick Henry was supposedly at the end of his prime. And I'm like, and then just goes and just absolutely
runs for like 2,000 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you just watch that man's workouts in the offseason, you'll be like, nah, he's not done.
No.
He literally looks like a defensive end.
Yeah. That was just the Titans just doing.
He reminds me, his body is like LeVar Arrington. Y'all remember LeVar Arrington?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was jacked as a linebacker. Yeah. That's what Derrick Henry looks like, a damn running back.
Yeah. But I mean, like it's again, for the majority of the Cowboys' offensive statistics, like you were middle of the pack, and that was with only 8 games of your starting quarterback.
Yeah,
Like,
and
so
I hate to say it, but we weren't lighting it up with Dak. We went in last season with, and the old man doesn't necessarily want to admit this. He tries to play it off now, but he was thinking Zeke was going to have a renaissance year. He was having a Zeke love fest, and I was just like, Zeke is done. He's toast. But the running game was a struggle, and I mean, shit, what's changed? Name our number one running back. I barely know who he is. Javonte Williams, I think.
Javonte Williams, yeah.
And I haven't seen him at all in the preseason. So I'm not too high. I don't know. I mean, I love our outside weapons on the skill positions as far as receivers and tight end, but we ain't got no one that can even carry a guy like Saquon Barkley's jockstrap. And that worries me. And I feel like our defense isn't necessarily greatly improved. Overshown's hurt. And I like our defensive end depth, but you take Mike out of that equation, that's obviously less. I do like Nealon. I do like Sam Williams. He tore his ACL last year. I mean, Sam Williams, I don't know if you noticed in his first couple years, he was running down as a gunner on punt coverage. That's how fast he is. Like as a defensive end. That was insane. So, and I do like Sanborn, the linebacker that came with Eberflus from Chicago.
Here, this was my next slide. I wanted to get your opinion on some of the acquisitions
well, there we go.
you guys got.
I'm halfway talking about these guys already.
Nice segue. I mean, obviously, the Micah Parsons, but you got Javonte Williams, and you got oh God, who's the other running back that was ours?
Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders.
Yes.
Yeah. Which he was cut by Carolina. After a year and a half, 2 years into it?
A terrible year.
Yeah, I had a bad year. Which I wanted to ask you, Casey, is there a reason the Cowboys didn't sign Tony Pollard or didn't keep Tony Pollard when I know he was gone last year, but
yeah, I think they didn't think he could be the cowbell guy. Multiple seasons just because of his body frame. Last time I checked, Pollard had a pretty solid year in Tennessee last year.
Yeah.
And I really was hoping. Now I know they drafted Blue out of Texas. Obviously the original predictions in the draft was Genty was going to get to him, and then that changed pretty quickly about a month before the draft. But I would have liked them to addressed the running back position a little better, because you talk about the defense can't stop the run. Well, we also can't run the ball. And I know you had to replace a Hall of Fame guard. Like, I get that. And we'll see how the new right guard does. But Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, and whoever the hell the third guy is, I mean, we're just – or Blue, I guess, would be the third guy. Now, yeah. Blue has the speed. Like, he's a Tony Pollard speed guy. He's a 4.3 guy. But the reason he fell to, I think, the 5th round, I mean, he has a lot of fumbling issues at Texas. He's been hurt in the preseason a couple times. I hope he turns into something. I'm cheering for him. And that's saying a lot because I am an Aggie. And but more than an Aggie, I'm also a Cowboy fan. So, but the next on your list, Jack Sanborn, man, I love what I've seen out of him. I took notice in the preseason of our linebackers in there. Leofau, second-year guy out of Notre Dame, I think is going to be solid as well until Overshown comes back. And George Pickens, man, he's on a well, they're letting their feelings known.
That's perfectly fine. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I appreciate it.
I appreciate y'all stopping by too. Hopefully I'll be on with y'all here soon. Cowboy Chris, we need to get you on next week on our show. And tell Mikey D come on too. That dude is hysterical. But George Pickens contract year. you just saved a bunch of money on the Micah deal. Now you did give that to the last guy on this list a little bit. Maybe now you have the money to sign George Pickens as well.
I feel like if they're going to, and I'm sure you'd agree, like that is one. It seems like after the Michael Parsons thing, is you need to get that one done sooner than later if you're really trying to work on keeping your fan base happy. Especially because you just gave Aaron Bland $96 million. That you would have to sign Pickens.
Yeah,
later.
The Bland thing, even Bland was surprised about it. Like they interviewed him, and I heard this on one of the stations up there in Dallas. Man, he wasn't even expecting to be extended, and especially at that amount. So I mean, congratulations to him and taking care of his family. But I like Osa. That was obviously done earlier in the off season, but it was a signing they had to make because they had no other defensive tackles. Is it my high on Solomon Thomas? No. My high on the Powwow guy. I can't even say his last. I'm not. He's a Tongan dude. He's a big old dude, but I'm not high on him. And Von Smith is a waste of a roster spot. So, I like these guys on the list here. Obviously, Parsons traded, but I think if Bland can return to what he was a couple years ago, I don't know if we'll get 9 interceptions again. But
I'll say, I mean, led the league in interceptions 2 years ago, so the skill's there. That he could be a top cornerback. So
And we should have Trayvon Diggs back. The rumor is he's playing on Thursday, but I haven't seen anything official.
And again, Osa. I think that's my goal for the season. I'll learn how to pronounce his name. Osa Odigizua, something like that.
Yeah, we just call him Ziggy.
Okay. That one, I mean, had 4.5 sacks last year. Played all 17 games, so. I mean, it's again a year, and then the 2 guys that you got for the Parsons trade. And I mean, I know everybody was judging them about the trade that the Cowboys people said they got fleeced in it and everything because of the picks they got could only be a 20th pick or something like that. But like you said, if they're going to package them to move up, then we're moving to next year or to the following year if they don't think Arch Manning is going to be any good.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the timing of the season or the football year they did it, right? Your value is probably lower now than it would have been before the draft. When it comes to a Micah Parsons situation, because you probably could have got 3 first or 2 first and some 2s and 3s thrown in there, which Kenny Clark's a solid defensive tackle. I mean, he had his worst year of his career last year. I think his statistics show that. I mean, he's solid, but he's 30. We didn't get a defensive tackle that's 25 or 24 years old that's been really good for just a couple years in the league. It was an okay trade. I gave it a grade of a C. When I initially saw it, I'd probably give it a C+. Now that I've had more time to really think about it. I didn't think it was I think they could have got more. I really thought the package I was hearing from Buffalo was better because Ed Oliver was being thrown in that, and I think he's a top 5, top 10 defensive tackle in the league.
Yeah,
and then you add the picks that they had in there, but it's done, and now he's wearing number 1, which is weird.
I saw a first player in 99 years or something like that to do that for Green Bay, they said. It was something like that. I was reading about it today. Next one I had was just our losses and additions, which the main reason I had these on here is because the majority of our best defense, one of the best defenses in the league, now just lost 5 players. And I mean, Scott, I'm sure you remember when all these players were gone. Everyone's just the Eagles are going to suck. Our defense is going to
I-
be garbage.
To be honest, I was more aggravated at the fact that they got rid of CJ
Yeah, because that one was out of
You-
nowhere that they traded him.
because you knew Josh Sweat was going. He was leaving.
Yeah.
You knew Becton was leaving. You knew Slay was leaving, or at least retiring. But the CJ one really threw everyone for a loop.
Yeah. Makai
'Cause he-
Becton's in some trouble
Yeah,
now.
he's in. I don't know. He might not play.
Well, he's got to take care of the wife and the mistress now.
Yeah, but CJ I thought he
Did
was
you
like,
not hear about that, Casey?
I did not.
he's into like a lot of drugs apparently too.
Yeah. Makai
What I heard.
Becton knocked up his side piece.
Oh,
And
Dumbass.
she was posting pictures of
Yeah,
his, like,
text
dirty
messages.
underwear and stuff.
Yeah.
All over. I'm like,
Should
yeah,
it-
she
Hey.
is.
there's condoms at the White House if you watch that documentary.
I really got to watch that.
Yeah, me too.
That's going to be my goal.
I know it's off subject, but so I hold the Last Dance is the best sports docuseries of all time. Like,
Oh yeah,
personally, and I know it may sound slanted coming from a Cowboys fan, but how they presented this, I think it's up there. I think it's you. I think if you watch it not with disdain in your heart because it's the Cowboys for some people, I think you'll actually the production value is there. They don't shy away from a lot of the controversial subjects. There are some I wish they would have got into, but overall, I thought it was really, really well done. And I actually think Jerry having a little nostalgia because of this series may have played a role in that Micah trade because he referred to the Micah trade as this could be the Herschel Walker trade for this team. And I'm like, bro, you got 5 picks out of that deal, and you got 2 out of this one, and a 30-year-old defensive tackle. It's not the same, bro. It's not.
Right.
But I was happy to see some of these guys leave your team personally. Big play Slay. I know he was on the back end. His best years were in Detroit, but he was still always in it. I was when y'all lose a defensive lineman, I'm always happy because Josh Sweat was a problem.
Yeah.
And CJ Gardner-Johnson being in Houston, that I agree with you, Scott and Sean. That came out of nowhere. That was pretty surprising to me, just as a NFC East observer, that they would make that deal.
I guess it just goes to show you that they're very confident in Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
I mean,
moving him over.
and Reed Blankenship.
Yeah.
Is Cooper playing safety now?
Apparently, from what I heard, he's moving there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
He's possibly going to play both safety and corner?
Yes.
Yeah. That they were it was like one of the things they immediately went to when training camp and all started was that they were having him work at safety. Obviously just from this one season we've seen, the skill is there. So I obviously hope it stays there because it's my official Kelly Green jersey, which they're wearing for 3 games this year. Hey Steve, how are you? The other one was AJ Dillon as a backup running back. I know that they were saying too, whatever ESP kept saying he doesn't even know if he'll make the team, and that was after like the first preseason game. And I'm like, really, we're cutting AJ Dillon after one game, huh? One preseason game. Cam Jurgens, I was fine with a 4-year extension. And then the 2 guys, Joshua, again, 2 names I can't say, but those are your guys that you're trying to get to replace Josh Sweat and Milton Williams on the outside. So we'll see how that pays off. So here, this was Casey, my big to get you and your dad's opinion on this. Let me move this out of the way for a sec. So Jerry Jones, obviously, you guys know, bought the Cowboys in '89 for $140 million, and now they are either the top or second highest valued NFL team?
Nah, it's the top.
Is it top? Okay.
Yeah, that's all
Valued
I
at
cares about.
13 valued at 13 billion. He's had 3 Super Bowls, 2014 NFL Executive of the Year, but I mean, it is throughout the whole entire country, he is heavily criticized as because he is owner, president, and GM, that he's way too involved. He needs to and I think he's like the only one or one of two who is the GM as well as owner.
I think he's the only one now.
Okay. So is that a case of not accepting the times, or just doesn't care?
Oh,
That's why I wanted to ask you guys.
So I think so. You have to look at Jerry Jones in 2 prongs, right? Jerry Jones, the owner, has been incredible for the league and the Cowboys.
He's what helped the Raiders move to Vegas.
Yep.
I think the Chargers move. Like, he was
And
apparently instrumental in those.
And they talk about this in the documentary in like the first or second episode, when he just started defying the league rules when it came to sponsorships and how teams marketed themselves. And now the league is worth billions, obviously, versus hundreds of millions. I mean, every team is north of $1 billion easily now, and it's worth, and that is heavily contributed to Jerry Jones, the owner. The GM, Jerry is always wanted credit, and he's always wanted to win that one without Jimmy, and without Jimmy's players, because he won the one with Barry Switzer, but we all know that team was put together by Jimmy Johnson, and those were the residuals of those 5 years with Jimmy. So he deserves the criticism because there's one constant in the last, since '95, and it's him and his posse. And it's not necessarily drafts. I mean, every team has their bust draft picks. And if you actually look at since 2010, Cowboys actually, especially their first rounders, have hit at almost a 70% rate. Like they're pretty good in the draft. He just doesn't seem to be willing to make that Deion Sanders move anymore. And call that the Stephen Jones influence, as my dad was talking about earlier. To me, he's, the last few off seasons, we've spent the least amount of money of anybody. Now we have the second most cap room of anybody. Oh, woohoo. What does cap room get you? It doesn't pay players if you're not using it. He's been great for the league. But if you tell me over the last 30 years, which owner I would want, I would want Jeffrey Lurie. And that's, I think, is obvious, and the proof is in the pudding from when he hired Andy Reid as his head coach, or whichever GM was in place that hired Andy Reid, and the sustained level that the Eagles have experienced over the past 25 years has been impressive as an organization. Like I said, this is about as glowing as you'll ever get from me. But you have to give respect where it's due. And the Eagles organization has turned into a world-class football organization and has put themselves up there with just the expectations of teams like the Chiefs and the Patriots of all those years. And they make winning moves. And Jerry Jones doesn't do that. We go out and sign dumbasses like Greg Hardy, or we invest in Jalen Smith too early and then he blows his knee again, or it can't. It just I don't understand it. And you would think you would be a little more desperate being 82 years old and willing to be a little more of the gambler, as his documentary calls him. But I would 100% take the ownership of the Eagles right now versus the Cowboys. But I do want to point this out. There's teams out there, one that have never won a Super Bowl, and there's another team that has been held in that regard, like the Cowboys in the history of the game. The 49ers haven't won a Super Bowl. It's been longer for them than the Cowboys. Now, granted, they've been to some Super Bowls and they've been to NFC title games, and that's been the criticism. But last time I checked, it's about winning rings, not getting there. So when you're those organizations, that's what it's about. So I just want to throw that out.
No, that's why I just, it was to compare the two. I mean, because, I know I have it all written there, but Laurie bought them bought the Eagles 5 years after Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys. But you know what? Andy Reid was here 14 years, Scott.
Yeah, about 13. that. 13.
I mean, 5 straight NFC Championship games, 1 win, and then 1 Super Bowl appearance, and we lost. And then, like, after they fired him is when they went to Chip Kelly, and ironically enough, Howie Roseman was the one who helped. Well, no, but he helped like get Chip Kelly the coaching job. And my favorite thing is that Howie Roseman started as an intern to help figure out salary cap issues, and he just literally worked his way up to vice president and GM. And after that whole Chip Kelly thing where they hired him, and then he got demoted from GM to he lost GM but was made executive VP. Chip Kelly was a disaster after that. And then Jeffrey Lurie was just like, we're never going to do this again. And Harry Roseman was just like, well, I'm going to make damn sure you never do it again. We go win a Super Bowl in 17 with Nick Foles.
And Doug Peterson, right?
And Doug Peterson, yeah. And then it was just after that, and again, like the stuff that you see Howie Roseman do with the salary cap, it's like there's never any worry about signing. Like even when we just lost 5 of our best defensive players, people were really worried. But it's just like they find ways to make it happen. They find the right coaching. I mean, Nick Sirianni's criticized every single day in this city. Like people want him fired every day still. Even though he just won a Super Bowl.
The crazy thing is he's one of y'all.
Right, seriously.
You don't get any more Philly than the name of Sirianni.
I mean, like, what? Remember his first year here, and he was like down in Wildwood or something like that, down by the beach, and he ended up crashing a wedding. He didn't even coach 1 game for us yet, and he ended up just going to a wedding of a fan who was getting married down there, and I'm like, that's how you do it. Like ever since his first press conference, no one liked him, and he's judged. He will be judged every single day that he's here. But it's just, I think just showing how Jerry Jones, I guess I was putting it as, doesn't want to evolve with the times and just wants but like Steve Mason said on here, just he wants you to think of Jerry, just as much as you think of the Cowboys. He needs to be the face, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely loves seeing himself and the Cowboys in the headlines, and all the years, man. You can look at it. I mean, last year we have Cooper Rush at quarterback, and that Thanksgiving game last year was like one of the highest rated games in the last 10 years in viewership.
Yeah,
and that's just because of there's something not only for Cowboy fans, but there's something about tuning in and hating on the Cowboys as well. And Jerry Jones has been part of that, and he loves it when the news cycle is around him. That's why he's the only owner, and if y'all can think of one, please inform me. He's the only owner who makes himself available to talk to the media after every single game.
Sorry, guys, I had to take a phone call from a paying customer. So,
no problem.
So
you're fine.
But coming back into this, I guess y'all are talking about the differences between the owners here, right? Or you're just
just discussing both of them. That's all.
Well, the thing, that gets me is that Jerry has been such a smart businessman. And what gets me is that at some point, because and he talks about this in the Netflix thing, his whole dream was to own a football team. It was about owning a winning franchise and all that stuff. But at what point, because I don't think he's got dementia or he's senile or anything, but I think it's his ego. He has never learned to put his ego in check. And I think this is deep down ingrained in him, that his ego is what's made him successful, so he doesn't want to change it. And unfortunately, what he's not seeing is that he's bleeding fans. As much as the Cowboys are one of the, if not, well, they are. They're the most valuable franchise. They are bleeding fans. And the reason they are is because you can only take losing for so long. You know, there's diehards that will never go away. I mean, I questioned whether I was going to stay a Cowboy fan even before the Micah trade, just because I'm just so tired of it and disappointed. But the San Diego Chargers, or well, the LA Chargers, I still say they're San Diego Chargers, but they were always my team after I left the Oilers after the whole Buffalo debacle. Of course, I lived in San Diego for 15 years, but I just think he believes in his heart of hearts that his ego is what makes him successful, and he doesn't know how to let go of that. And yeah, I mean, even his wife, he talks about it, and I already knew this story. His wife, after the whole Jimmy Johnson debacle, his wife said, "You just couldn't leave it alone, could you? You just could not keep from messing it up." And, you know, he said in the documentary, it's the first time he's ever said, "I usually laugh about that, but now it really bothers me."
Yeah.
And, you know, and I think that's kind of what happens when you get older and you start reflecting on the decisions you've made. But unfortunately for us as Cowboy fans, I don't think we're going to get to the point to where it's all about winning anymore. It's all about business with them.
Well, I know that's what, when I brought it up to Dustin jokingly in the chat, and I just said, I'm like, what's it going to take for him to be done? Like, is it going to take just fans not going to games anymore? Because like you said, you'll have the diehards that still go, but I'm like, you know, football stadium seats 80,000 people and you're 50% full or whatever, you know, and it starts hitting your money, then is that going to be the sign? You're like, all right, like a change has to come.
Yeah, and I think that's hard it's hard for me as a fan. You know, it's because it's not about the owner. I hate the owner. I don't like the owner at all. It's about, I grew up in Dallas. I grew up with Roger Staubach and Randy White and all those guys. That was my team. And to let go of that is really hard, you know. And I think that's where you have this ingrained loyalty, because it's where you're from, it's your city, right? And so a lot of them, I mean, people show up at Cleveland Browns games. It's because they live in Cleveland. You know, you guys know why Toledo doesn't have a professional football team, right?
No.
Because then Cleveland would want one. So there you go.
That's probably the best joke you've told in 6 months.
All right.
I don't know. A lot of people like the one where the last one that I did about the. I was in line at the bank and an old lady asked me to help her check her balance, and so I pushed her over.
Terrible.
So my last thing tonight was literally just your predictions for the game and how your season too. What do you think your season's going to be like?
I'll let age go before beauty on this one.
Well, okay. But this is beautifully aged. Let's just keep that straight.
Yeah, we old as shit.
But my problem still is with the defense with the Cowboys. I still don't think they've addressed what they've needed. I do think they've got some young linebackers that are showing promise. But they just signed Bland to a new contract or extension.
Yeah, we talked
But
about
I'm still more worried about the fact that they can't stop the run. Now we're going to see, obviously, bringing in this defensive tackle from Green Bay. His name escapes me right now.
Kenny Clark.
Yeah, I think that could help that. But if you can't get to the quarterback from the outside now you've created, you may be stopping the run, but now you've created another problem to the outside. So I think it's going to be a good game. And I think with Philadelphia, Dak has always played well, and he seems to be healthy. He's going to have another. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Philadelphia wins it by a touchdown. I hate to say that, but there you go. There's your
Casey
for the season. I'll finish it out for the season. The season, I thought they were going to win 12 games before all this went down. But I think I'm going to roll that back to they're going to win maybe 10 games. They might make the wild card, but that's about it. So there you go.
Oh, that was funny.
All right.
Yeah.
I know what y'all laughing at. I think Cowboys are going to get their ass kicked on Thursday. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be at least a 2-touchdown win. I hate to say that as a Cowboy fan, but new coaching staff, lack of a running game, defense to be determined. I think it's going to take with new systems and those type of things. I just think if you are going to click for the Cowboys, I think it's going to be against lesser competition and not the Eagles. You know, we have two subpar teams after this. I think with the Micah drama being a distraction for as long as it was, I think you might be able to see glimpses of what Dallas can be, but I think ultimately Saquon will probably have 200 yards in the first half again. And because we can't stop the run. Season-wise, I know Vegas has the over-under. The Cowboys win total at 7.
Wow.
I'm going under. I originally had them at 11-6 when the schedules first came out. When I started looking at it, I'm just not very hopeful, and we're going to need at least one high pick in this next draft to fill a hole somewhere because the Packers are going to probably win the NFC North, in my opinion. But, I don't predict very good things for the Cowboys season.
One last thing is, remember, we talked about this on our show that I thought that maybe he's making a play to get Arch Manning. Well, Mr. Manning didn't look very good in his debut. Didn't look good at all, except for the fourth quarter he started to play. So he may not need a really high first-round draft pick if that is his thinking.
He may not even enter the NFL draft.
Yeah.
Well, before everyone jumps off of the Arch Manning train, I will say this. Out of the four of us, I'm the only one that's probably attended a game at the Shoe. Would that be an accurate statement there, fellas?
Yes.
Okay, so the Shoe is one of the hardest places in college football to play. And I've been there at night games, day games. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I think night games they would have got trounced. Because when we went over the college football rankings, I didn't think Texas deserved to be number one personally. I did kind of address that a little earlier on the Arch Manning conspiracy, but the Cowboys, it's going to be a rough year. Our cousin Sir George is probably not actually going to turn into a Cowboys fan. We'll see him next week, but and get his initial impressions. Our favorite guy, Sir George, our long lost cousin from Great Britain. But yeah, man, it's going to be a great year in Philly watching the debacle that is the Dallas Cowboys for you guys. I hate to say it.
Scott, what do you got?
I got the Eagles. The Eagles are going to win by 2 touchdowns. I mean, it is what it is. And I think the Eagles are going to win 12 games, and they're going to go to the NFC Championship game. And that's as far as I'm going to take it at that.
No repeat?
I listen,
You don't want to jinx it?
No, I don't want to jinx it.
Fair enough.
I have the Eagles winning at least by a touchdown. I'm not quite ready to go 2 touchdowns yet because, again, we just lost 5 of our defensive players. Jalen Hurts, again, has a new offensive coordinator. This is his 3rd year in a row, I think. He's had a different...
Had one every year. Every year
he's been in the league, I think. He's had a different...
And in college.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just... Not that it's really affected him much, but...
it's just normal life for him.
Pretty much. Maybe they're doing it because it's how he thrives. So I do think they win by a touchdown. I'm curious to see what the defense looks like. I do have lots of faith in Vic Fangio. But I'm curious to see how much they rely on Saquon this year after him running all over everybody last year. So I don't know. I'd say like 30, 35, 24, 35, 28, something like that. The Eagles. I'm not quite on the 12 games. I know their line is 11.5. I could see the Eagles winning 10 or 11, and that's only because their schedule sucks. They play the Chiefs week 2. We play the Bills at the end of the season. Our last 3 games are Redskins, Bills, Redskins. I refuse to say Commanders, like you said. They're not the Commanders.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Stupidest name ever.
Yeah. So
you think the Washington football team is going to win the division?
No, I think we win the division. I think it's just it's going to be 1 game difference probably between us and them. And then I think, the Giants are bad enough that they're going to play that Arch Manning's not going to go into the NFL draft, and they're going to be bad enough to go after him again the following year too. So
I think Jackson Dart is going to turn into something. I think he's a solid prospect.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that he's going to be a 3 or 4 year experiment for them, kind of like Daniel Jones was. But I think he's better than Daniel Jones.
I think Daniel Jones knows somebody somewhere for him to once again be starting for the Panthers. Like that is just, it's unbelievable. Wait, Panthers?
You mean the Colts?
Colts. Sorry, Colts.
I mean, Anthony Richardson ain't burning it up either. Let's be honest.
No, I know. I laughed. I mean, there was, that's what I just think. I'm like, he's got pictures of somebody that he got out of the Giants and still was able to find a starting job. I know Donna. Donna is our number 1 fan on our podcast. Yeah. Scott has work in like 4 hours, so he had to go to sleep.
Oh, all right.
I'm surprised he hung on this long.
Well, we appreciate you, Scott, and at least you weren't already in bed.
Yeah, not drunk, in bed. Sure, but guys, I appreciate you coming on, hanging out for a little while.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anytime.
Yeah, I will catch up with you guys again after the game. It'll be a fun season, I think. Hopefully for you guys too.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see. But I appreciate it. How's the Rangers doing? Because I just picked up their third baseman in my fantasy league. So
well, we've won 6 in a row and 9 out of the last 10.
Yeah.
So we're only a game and a half out of the last wild card spot. But we did lose Evaldi for the year. Seager's out, Simeon's out. They're doing something.
Jesus.
But they've done all this without their big guns, so we'll see how it goes. They put themselves in a spot to have a competitive end of the year, but the next 2 weeks, I think there's a pretty rough stretch of 12 games.
Yeah.
Here coming up, and they got to at least go 500 if they're going to give them a shot by the end of the season, if not 7-5 or 8-4 over those 12 games. So, so the Rangers, I labeled them dead in the water about 3 or 4 weeks ago but then within this run, I think we put up 20 runs in one of the games, and we haven't been able to hit all year. But yeah, I'm excited to see that if they can somehow make this push without the big guns in the lineup.
Too, I was noticing too, because I mean, looking ahead, you guys play Houston, who I know isn't in your division, but
No. Yeah, they are.
Or yes, they are. I'm sorry. Yeah,
leading
you play them 6 times. And I'm like, that is a huge opportunity to make some ground up. I don't know what Houston's schedule is the rest of the year, but I love the Rangers. I've always liked the Rangers, except when they beat the Phillies, obviously. But you guys actually, that is the first series of the baseball next year is Phillies Rangers in Philly.
Sweet.
Next year. So
yeah, we got Houston after this Diamondbacks wraps up tonight. Then we got the Brewers and Mets. So that's that 12-game stretch of pretty damn good teams.
Yeah. And then I think Houston right after that again. I think I saw.
Yes. Yeah. So Houston again. And then we get Marlins, Twins, and Guardians to finish it off. So yeah, that stretch is going to be massive. And unfortunately we don't have any against Seattle in Texas, or we don't play Seattle anymore the rest of the year. Yeah. But we lost, I think, every game in Seattle except one this year. Really? So
okay.
We have not been a good road team this year. We got some things we got to do in the offseason. We want to get back to real playoff contention. And guys got to hit the ball. I mean, this is the best year of pitching the Rangers have had in their history. Like DeGrom has actually been DeGrom. He's going to finish out the year, it looks like. Evaldi was a Cy Young candidate before he got hurt.
Yeah.
And Jack Leiter has turned into something after he was kind of mulling around the majors minors for a few years. So yeah, we'll see how it ends up. And I mean, the old man is a Rangers trader. He's a Houston fan, so being from Dallas,
Houston and the Padres, man. I've been a Padres fan for a long time.
I make no qualms about your Padre fandom. I'm just saying you're
so.
Hey, I'm enjoying watching the Padres take over the NL West from the Dodgers.
Yep. Yes, it is nice.
Yes, for once, because when they went out in the trade deadline and made all those moves, I was just like, God, I really I hope it works out because I'm tired of the Dodgers. So
yeah, I'm with you.
But I appreciate it, guys, and I will catch up with you guys another day.
I appreciate it, brother.
All right, have a good night.
Yeah, peace.
Night.